15 years ago, Portugal abandoned one of its most ambitious projects. A high-speed rail that was supposed to connect the country's capital, Lisbon, with Porto, which is the second largest city. Everything was going according to plan, but suddenly they had to scrap the whole thing because, well, there was no money, so no tracks. Now, 15 years later, and the dream is back on track, literally. Portugal has decided to restart the project. In fact, it has already set aside 4.5 billion euros to make it happen. Things are shaping up to make this Lisbon-Porto high-speed rail line iconic. Before we embark on this journey through Portugal's high-speed rail revival, don't forget to hop on and subscribe for the latest updates on incredible infrastructure projects around the globe. So, back in the 90s, Portugal had this ambitious plan to completely upgrade its rail system. They decided to build a full-blown high-speed rail network that would connect Lisbon to Porto, with extensions to Madrid and Vigo, Spain. Everything seemed set for a huge leap forward. By 2005, they even made the official announcement. They announced that the new Lisbon-Porto line was going to cut travel time to just 75 minutes. For comparison, the existing Alpha Pendular service operates between Lisbon and Porto, maxing out at 220 km per hour and taking almost 3 hours. But by 2009, Portugal's economy hit rough waters due to the global financial crisis. The project, which had an estimated budget of 4.5 billion euros, was simply too expensive for the country now. As a result, the government decided to abandon it, at least for some years. That meant saying goodbye to the dream of faster, more efficient travel between the two cities, and scrapping connections with Madrid and Vigo as well. Meanwhile, the Linha do Norte, which is Portugal's busiest rail corridor, continued to serve passengers at slower speeds. But it was relying on an aging system that could not keep up with the modern European standards. The existing Alpha Pendular trains may hit decent speeds, but they could not compete with the high-speed services that other countries in Europe were already boasting about. To make things worse, this was not even the first time the project faced a shutdown. Back in 1999, during Antonio Guterres' government, similar plans were introduced but never got far due to financial concerns. In fact, João Gravino, the then planning minister, had been pushing hard for these developments. He believed it was the perfect time for Portugal to step up and modernise its infrastructure. During the long pause after the 2009 abandonment, many believe Portugal missed a massive opportunity to modernise its infrastructure and reduce carbon emissions. Fast, efficient rail systems could have played a huge role in transforming both business travel and tourism between Lisbon and Porto. It could have cut down congestion and pollution at the same time. Yet, the country was stuck with what it had, slow and outdated. Now, after years of delays and missed opportunities, the Lisbon-Porto high-speed rail project is finally coming back to life. In 2020, the government finally reactivated the Lisbon-Porto high-speed rail project, and this time they have promised to make it a reality. The Portugal government has committed to a whopping €43 billion investment into infrastructure by 2030. Out of these €43 billion, they have set aside €4.5 billion for this particular rail line. This means no more wishful thinking, this is happening. So, here is the plan. The project will be carried out in 3 phases. The first section, which will run from Porto to Ceará, is expected to be completed by 2028. That means in just a few years, passengers will already be saving around 40 minutes on their trip between these two cities. After this, they will work on the stretch from Ceará to Carregado. This phase is expected to be completed by 2030. Finally, the last leg from Carregado to Lisbon will be done a year after that. Now, what makes this exciting is the speed. Once this line is finished, trains will be flying down the tracks at speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour. With no stops, Lisbon to Porto will only take 75 minutes. Even with a few stops at cities like Coimbra, Aveiro, and Vila Nova de Gaia, the trip will only stretch to about 105 minutes. And let's talk about stations. Most of the current stations will be upgraded to handle these high-speed trains, but Vila Nova de Gaia is going to have a whole new station built from scratch. It will be named Gaia Santo Ovidio. Plus, there's a new bridge planned to cross the Douro River between Porto and Gaia. Now, the amazing thing is that this rail is not just going to connect Lisbon and Porto. There is also a plan to eventually extend the line from Porto all the way to Vigo in Spain. This journey is estimated to take around 50 minutes. That's a major boost for both business and tourism, though this part of the project might take a little longer to get going. As if that was not wonderful enough, Portugal is also planning to bring high-speed rail to the Lisbon-Madrid route. Right now, if you want to get between these two cities, flying is pretty much your only quick option. But once the rail line is complete, the journey will be cut down to just 3 hours. With 40 daily flights between Lisbon and Madrid and 20 between Lisbon and Porto, this could seriously upgrade travel habits in the region. Of course, there is a lot of coordination needed with Spain to get all of this done. For example, there are going to be infrastructure issues like different track gauges, voltage, and signalling systems. Plus, both countries will need to figure out the best way to invest those sweet European funds to make this happen. Still, once it is complete, it is going to change the definition of travelling in Portugal. This change was long overdue though. Most of Europe is already running on rails, so it's about time for Portugal as well. Some countries already have impressive networks like France and Spain. Others are finally starting to catch up, realising that rail is the future of sustainable and efficient transportation. Let's look at the bigger picture. Rail is having a major comeback across Europe, and it's not just for short trips anymore. High-speed rail has become an integral part of daily life in countries like France, Spain and Italy. In France, for example, the TGV has been slashing journey times for years, and they keep expanding it. They recently finished a line from Paris to Bordeaux, and there are 6 more projects on the way. Over in Spain, the high-speed rail network is the second largest in the world, after China. Spain has added over 2,500 miles of track, and rumours are they're adding even more lines. Overall, in 2022, the number of high-speed train passengers shot up by 76%. This means there were around 23.7 million passengers using these trains. Clearly, the Europeans are loving it. Even in places where rail travel was not always top of the agenda, we are seeing major changes. The Czech Republic, for example, already has plans to build new high-speed routes that will connect major cities and tie into the wider European network. The construction is set to start in 2026, and they are confident that they are going to join the high-speed rail party soon. Hungary and Serbia are also constructing their own line. This new line will connect Budapest to Belgrade that is already partially operational. But this whole idea of connecting Europe through trains is not going to be an easy one. One of the biggest challenges for Europe is the lack of cross-border cooperation when it comes to rail. Take France and Spain, for example. There used to be smooth connections between the two, but now the trains from Paris stop just before the Spanish border in Hendaye, and passengers have to switch services. The same problem exists between France and Italy. Clearly, Europe has some work to do in making these cross-border connections smoother. To tackle these issues, the EU has ambitious plans to double high-speed rail use by 2030 and triple the number of passengers by 2050. They are pouring billions into transport projects to make that happen. In fact, €5.4 billion was allocated in 2022 alone. and another €7 billion in 2023. And the exciting thing is that they are not only building new tracks, but there's also a push to make existing rail systems faster and more reliable. In some countries, demand is already outpacing supply. Long-distance rail travel is becoming more popular as people look for greener, more sustainable ways to get around. But there is still a lot of work to be done in maintaining and upgrading the existing infrastructure. Germany, for example, has struggled with this. And while we are seeing some exciting developments like Eurostar's incredible plan to carry 30 million passengers by 2030, there are plenty of areas that need improvement. Cross-border trains need better coordination, timetables need to be set earlier, and paths for trains need to be planned more efficiently. So, Europe may not be fully there yet, but one thing that we are sure of is that rails are becoming the backbone of European travel. In summary, Portugal's high-speed rail dream is back on track, with a €4.5 billion investment set to transform travel between Lisbon and Porto. What are your thoughts on this ambitious project? Do you think it will live up to the hype? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Design Zip for more fascinating insights into architecture, design, and construction projects from around the globe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.